This episode is brought to you by Joy Events, the world's most effective event planning software.
Well, greetings again for another edition of the Event Tech Pull-Up live from the show floor at Confex. Today, for this episode anyway, I'm with Beezar and Danis from Boost.Express, and we're actually going to talk about their product, which actually is something that's really, really unique. Now, I have to go down here and look at my notes, because that's how I roll. So first off, we're going to start with what is Boost.Express? And I know last night we talked a lot about it. In fact, it was a conversation that was so good, I actually had to walk away from the bar where everybody was, and we sat down at a table so you could tell me more. But why don't you guys go ahead and tell everyone what Boost.Express is?
Should be on red, right?
Yep. Good. Oh, no, click it so it's green.
So Boost.Express essentially is a digital advertising and sponsorship platform. What we do is we enable sponsors and exhibitors to work together outside of the window of the event, which is typically a couple of days to a week, and make sure that they can extend that relationship beyond the event dates and generate revenue and strengthen that relationship for 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, indefinitely, essentially.
Well, and I thought that was one of the really cool things, right? We were looking at a current client of yours, and I think, Danis, you had said it had gone on out for a year after the event, right? And it's still going. So the next question that I really love to ask is, how is it different from other products? But there really are not any other products that do what you do. So what pain point does Boost.Express solve for exhibitors and show organizers?
So I think that's a great question, and you are right. We don't have any similar products in the space that do what we do. Of course, you have adjacent things, and we're not reinventing the wheel, right? So essentially what we're doing is we're allowing sponsors and exhibitors to bring their digital advertising budgets, which are bigger than the budgets that they spend on events, into the events space. I wouldn't say competition, but the problem we solve is small internal teams that are trying to run one or two digital advertising campaigns for a sponsor, typically the keynote sponsor, and we really democratize the ability for any sponsor to come in and collaborate with the event to run campaigns for 12 months a year, essentially using the event brand and the audiences and partnering with the event to get in front of the right buyers all year long.
Yeah, so basically when you're doing the digital advertising, it's actually cross-pollinating. It actually helps both sides. It can bring in new attendees to an event, and it also helps the exhibitor, obviously.
Yes, it is. So being more specific, sponsors just don't have access to the data that events have. If you want to target a specific niche of the attendees, it is not available in LinkedIn and in Instagram or Facebook, of course. So what you can do is target everyone, and it will be just inefficient. So if you co-brand and you target a specific niche, you can expect 6 times increase in CTRs. That's what we see on average. So the pain point is that you have to do it manually, the ads are inefficient, and if you are not doing it, you will not get noticed. Nobody will see you or remember you. So yeah, basically that's it.
Well, and it was really funny when we were sitting at the table last night, and you pulled out a screen share right of I forget if it was Facebook or LinkedIn, but you're like, yeah, and this is the one we're doing, and I'm like, oh my God, I've seen that in my feed like 5 times, right,
Exactly.
since I got here.
Exactly.
So it actually works, right?
Oh, it works 100%. It works 100%. So again, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just leveraging the technology and the reach of LinkedIn Meta to run ads with specific bespoke target. So it was one of the sponsors and exhibitors here at Confex that was running an ad, and they had selected the audience type that they were looking to get that ad in front of, which you were. So essentially, you can be extremely targeted to make sure you reach the right person with the right message at the right time.
Well, and I think that's really cool, and I think what everyone should know is we were talking about the price points for entry, right? And it's not just for the larger exhibitors.
Oh.
Where you guys start off on the pricing is a smaller exhibitor has the opportunity to piggyback on a show's audience, but then the show also has the ability they're bringing in new attendees because they're piggybacking off of the exhibitor, whether it's a small exhibitor or one of the larger ones.
Absolutely. So there's a couple of things that are really, really important here. We work with the event organizer to make sure that we can help and support them, not only in the onboarding, which takes about 4 hours. So the entire onboarding process with a show takes about 4 hours. We then also make sure we're having the right conversations because we're doing the sales to the exhibitors, we're doing the management of the exhibitors, we're creating and supporting with the campaigns, we're making the optimization to make sure that that exhibitor has a flawless experience as if they were using a very expensive agency that is running and supporting them, but then we're doing that to the show level. And depending on the objective of the exhibitor, it can be, hey, we want to boost, no pun intended, we want to boost our booth traffic to make sure let's run a 2 or 3 or 4 week campaign. But also, all of these exhibitors are spending substantial amounts of money on their own advertising campaigns and marketing campaigns and lead generation. So we can now redirect a portion of that money to make sure that that goes through the event to deliver the exact same thing, which is online advertising on LinkedIn that is measurable, has all of the analytics that they get themselves, so they can now attribute so much more coming out of the event than they could historically.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that you currently see, and it's a problem that you actually do solve, is, if you go to a huge event, last night I just mentioned the International Builders Show because it's such a massive event, is a lot of times the exhibitors or sponsors that are putting ads out there, it's a shotgun approach where they're just flooding it rather than being extremely targeted. And this is actually a way that makes it extremely targeted. I think that my next question for you guys is, what joy points does it bring to the exhibitor or the event that brings you in? So, for example, you did mention that a team of 3 right now has the reach of an agency. But what are some other things that actually, brings joy to the folks that actually use Boost.Express?
So I think the joy really is in something you just mentioned. When you're having a conversation, hey, I've seen those ads. That's a very, very tangible and immediate joy.
And I got to say, that was freaky when you were showing it to me. I'm like, oh my, I literally saw this like 20 minutes ago.
Exactly. So that's very joyful. But also leading up to the event, depending on the objective of the sponsor, we can do lead generation campaigns. So before they hit the show floor, they can see that there's an influx in meetings that they have at the event. They can see that their sales teams are getting meetings because we're not only just focused on the event, but we're also focused on making sure to help them generate leads under the event brand. So being able to see clear metrics, hey, we've had 128,373 impressions on LinkedIn. We've generated 1,283 clicks from LinkedIn to our landing pages. We have had 79 conversions, 13 have gone through the in-platform lead capture, and the rest was directly booked with our sales teams. The event is in 2 months. And all of that value is generated for the sponsor.
That's powerful.
I would add one more joy point. We hear quite so often that our clients, sponsors, are willing to use ad creatives that we produced outside of the events. I mean, they are so excited about the quality of production that they are actually asking us to help with the regular ads. And it is something like inspiring for us each time because, most sponsors don't even do basic things, basic stuff. They don't have resources or expertise, and we are doing it basically for free for them. So it is one of the key values. And jumping back a step, we forgot to mention our new feature when sponsors can.
That's the answer to the next question.
Next question?
I'm loving this. Keep going.
Yeah. So sponsors can actually upload and share their own contact lists and use them for targeting. Why we do it? Because the overlap of your target audience and the event audience is usually like 5 to 10%. It means you are leaving a lot of audience outside. But having a solid reason to connect, to act, is, hey, let's meet at the event. So if we are targeting our audience, bringing them to the event, we are kind of helping event organizers bring those attendees, and we are creating a solid call to action. Because let's be clear, Frank, that most of people try to avoid being engaged online if you're communicating them directly. And meeting at the event is something nice to offer.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that we should talk about is who is this product for? Because that was one of the things we were talking about last night, and I think you guys were very clear that currently it's for this type of event, this type of organizer. Maybe it's going to be for this one later, but currently, what is the best the best?
Our
client?
ICP. So our ICP essentially, I think that's a very valid question, Keith. Our ICP is organizers that have events that are over 250, 300 exhibitors. So there's volume there. And they have a revenue objective. They want to grow their revenue. That's really the exhibitor, the kind of companies we want to work with. So what we do is onboarding takes about a couple hours, 3-4 hours. The second event, onboarding is 10 minutes. We manage all of the creatives. We manage the sales process because the organizer sales teams are excellent at selling square meters, but they're kind of challenged in selling digital products because it's not their forte. So our team, our sales team actually engages with the sponsors, make sure that they come on board. Just to give you a couple of numbers I think you're going to love. The sponsors we engage with, we convert 43% to paying clients.
That's a huge number.
The first credit card swipe last year was coming in at $3,700. Now it's, I think, $5,100. That's the very first payment. And they can continue these payments throughout. So since our inception, we've had clients that are constantly running ads with us, with the event through us, because eventually, or ultimately, it's the event organizer, it's reach and brand and recognition and advertising spent for the organizer that are doing that continuously. So the first big event that we onboarded is a healthcare event in the US. They have 2 events in the US and 1 in Europe. Since September of last year, we've generated just shy of $100,000 for them in credit card swipes from exhibitors directly on our platform. We've spent, I think you've seen the numbers, we've spent $70,000 of that money already, and we are forecasting to hit $300,000 because they have 2 more events happening, one in June and the other one is in October. That's $300,000 in just over a year, entirely sold, managed, upsold, cross-sold by us and our team to make sure that it helps so far generate 1 million impressions on LinkedIn within that very expensive healthcare audience, paid for entirely by the sponsors and exhibitors.
That is absolutely fantastic, and I want to thank you guys for coming on the Event Tech Pull-Up. I think it was great. I do think that once the show is over, I want to have you guys back on, and I actually want to do a deep dive, right? Where we can go down and we can actually show folks what is involved in something like this. But in the meantime, tell them how to get in touch with you guys.
So my name is Beezar Sirini. I'm on LinkedIn. Beezar, Bravo, Echo, Echo, Zulu, Alpha, Romeo, at Boost.Express. My co-founder, Danis, and we'd be happy to support. I think everything we do makes perfect sense. Just right now it's being done by humans, and we can scale and live that up significantly. So the opening line that I have at our booth when people walk by, what do you guys do? Like, we make you money. Oh, really? We don't cost you any money. Oh, really? How do you get paid? Well, look, we do revenue share. So as long as we're not making you money, we don't get paid. So it's in our best interest to make sure you have a very, very successful delivery. And it's really...
Well, you know, and here we go. We were wrapping up, and now we're diving down a little thing. That is actually one of the beauties of it, right? So for an event organizer, there's no capital. You don't have to put anything in, right?
We're not replacing anything. So there's no cycles and complex things. It's purely net new revenue with high margins. And so far, for every event, we have more than tripled their own advertising budgets. More than tripled.
Well, and for associations where an event is actually a revenue generator for the association, right? Yeah. It's a great way to bring in non-dues revenue.
So IAE is one of the associations that we have a really great relationship with. We did Expo, so that was event-specific advertising and partnership campaigns. We're now flipping that and should go live this week, where they can do the IAE-related content. So all of their 500-600 suppliers that are a member of IAE can now come in and run these advertising campaigns throughout the year. So the members get in front of the right buyers at all given times, and the buyers can leverage their relationship with IAE outside of the actual event date in December.
And again, what is really, really super cool about this is there is nothing else like this, right?
Oh, really?
So I do think if you're an organizer that fits the bill on who this is the perfect fit for, go ahead and give it a try, right? You have nothing to lose.
Not only you have so much to gain. It's not about nothing to lose.
Yeah.
You have so much to gain.
So much to gain.
Your relationship with the exhibitors becomes so much stronger. You get more people in the door. You generate revenue outside of the event cycles. You don't have to do anything because we take care of the onboarding, sales, campaign management, creatives. You just lean back, you approve because everything has to get that final approval. And then once that is approved, you collect the money on a monthly basis.
Fantastic. Well, gentlemen, thank you so much for
really
being
appreciate
on.
you.
And again, I'm not kidding. We're going to have you back in a few weeks, and we're going to do a deep dive.
Really looking forward to showing some examples. Thank you.
So, if you want to learn more about this, just wait a couple of weeks, and we're going to do a full hour on this one.
Or reach out so we can actually build a case on that event.
You can
and
do
say,
that too.
Hey, Keith, from what we did together, look at how amazing that went.
You can do that too.
Appreciate you. Thank you.